If you're an appointment setter stuck under 5K a month and you know that you're meant for more to become a remote sales closer, but you just don't have the skill set yet, this is for you. In this interview, I'm sitting down with Ted, one of my students. He made the shift. He went from setting calls and making 5K a month to consistently closing deals, and last month making over 14K in 1 month when he joined the Remote Sales Accelerator. So if you want to learn more, tune in. How you doing, Ted? Been a while, man. Good to finally obviously have this chat. You said you were just in a storm then to get back for this?
Yeah, that's right. Just lashing it down,
Yeah.
so took a little bit longer than planned, but we made it safe. It's the main thing.
Gotta love Asia, but obviously when that rain comes down, it comes down heavy, right?
Yeah, I know. It's like nothing else you've ever seen, right? Makes it
Yeah.
kind of exciting at the same time rather than just dull, you know, dull rain throughout all the year back home, right?
Of course, man. Being a nomad, especially being a remote closer like you are now, obviously we have the vehicle to go where we want to be treated best, right? Where are you now, actually? You're in Malaysia, is that right? Or Thailand?
In Malaysia at the moment, just arrived from Bali about a week ago, 10 days ago, off to
Nice.
Thailand then at the end of the weekend, right? So
Nice.
can't complain.
Well, let's obviously definitely get into that. Let's obviously share with the viewers of like where it all started for Ted McCartney before you even got into the high ticket space. What were
Yeah,
you
sure, man.
doing back then?
So for me, since I was wee, I mean, I've always wanted to be traveling and wanting to be seeing the world, right? So I graduated, finished uni during COVID, then was stuck in some crap job working for EE, you know, grafting out customer service just while I was at home. And then eventually when things opened up with COVID, just booked the first ticket out there, out to Thailand, um, with my mate. Got a job as a teacher. Was thinking this is class, right?
Yeah,
Getting out there, especially after COVID, man. Everybody
yeah, of
knows how it
course.
was, right? Just being stuck at home where I never wanted to be with no real sort of opportunity. Then, yeah, I took the first chance I got, £700 a month teaching. Um, in Thailand. Quite rural, man. It did the
But
job.
how, how did that even feel though? Because like just making money online for some people is like in their mind is impossible. But you showing other people that you can, if your passion is to teach, you can go and make like 700, probably what's like 1,500 you get paid now as a teacher online, maybe.
Yeah, £700 a month. It
Yeah.
was. Or
What
sorry,
year was that?
yeah, yeah. And about that was about 3 years ago now, pretty much.
Yeah. Might be
Um,
closer to a grand now, maybe for teaching, possibly at 800, maybe.
maybe, maybe, yeah. Which is fine. It was tight at times. I'd have a bit of savings and it got
Mm.
you through. Still enjoyed myself, right? But yeah, I was there for a year and obviously loved it. Loved being out in Asia. Right, the people, the culture is amazing. Um, and I came back though, had to come home, and I basically came back with like a name that I wanted to basically come back out, but with a remote job. Because I was just thinking if I can even make minimum wage, back home. I mean, which is what like I couldn't even tell you now, but basically,
Yeah, about
grand and a half.
£1,500. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, grand and a half a month, right? And come back out and live remote on that out in Thailand, that it would have just been like a different story, right? Double the income already. So basically, I got into setting through a friend. Always kind of felt like that I would be good at sales. A lot of my
Yeah.
friends were always they always kind of said that they always kind of saw me in that overall because I like to chat
It's that, it's
shite.
that, it's that Irish charm for sure.
Yeah, exactly. If you can understand what I'm saying, then I guess it makes sense, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Um, but but yeah, man, I came in, I was setting, was great, setting your own, technically working your own hours, right?
Yeah.
It is a bit of a graft in itself, right? So it's not so much just like this with closing, setting your own hours, right? But
Mm.
it still had that flexibility. I was earning maybe like a grand 1,200 a month,
And what year was
and
this?
just then, so this would have been the following year from that. So about 2 years ago, got into it.
Yeah.
which is fine, man. Traveling around, as I said, more money, more freedom. I wasn't spending just 8 hours a day and then on site in the job, right? I was able to travel around a bit more and enjoy myself. But yeah, I was in there for like a year with that job, moved into a different job, which my manager took me over into. It was more commission based than the first.
You mean when you say job, you mean this wasn't actual like proper offers like we're on now? This is more an
It wasn't.
online.
It was an
an
offer,
Yeah.
but it was more base. Like it was more of
Okay.
a base, and then you made like I think you made like 20 quid for a sale. It
Okay.
was depending on it
It's
was
not a high ticket.
fairly low ticket. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was fine as it is. Worked hard. I tend to do that, right? It's which I'm grateful for, but did that for like bit less than a year. Went on to this more commission based offer, and then I've got my income up to about maybe 4K. I remember I was telling you that I just had my 27th birthday there in the start of May, and I remember telling you that basically before my last birthday, turning 26, that my goal was to be making $1,000 a week, because like I saw the
Yeah.
potential, coming into that offer, and I was thinking if I can make $1,000 a week, like that's like 4 times what I've been earning,
Yeah.
right? That's
Yeah.
again just incredible. So I came in, got laser focused on it. Was putting in 12-hour, 13-hour days. Just trying to make it work when there wasn't really necessarily the opportunity crafted at it. I kind of got comfortable.
And just maybe to give the viewers like a bit more context of like what setting is, because we obviously will have people maybe that are setting that are watching this, but then there's people like that may be coming into remote sales and their first job might be setting instead of actually high ticket sales and closing. So yeah, go into a bit more detail so they can understand like how setting actually works.
So yeah, there's different type of leads, type of prospects, that you would speak to. You're basically the first point of contact. It's probably the best way to put it. These guys might fill out an application. They might, apply for a certain thing and then give their details. And then basically it's your role to be that first point of contact.
And they would come from YouTube or
YouTube, maybe Facebook, paid ads like that. Yeah. So they can be colder. They can be warmer, more familiar with the company. But in general, it's more that you put the work in, you run through, you're calling these guys. It can be hard work. In general, for a lot of companies, it is very much commission based, which is much work as you put in. If you maybe are wanting to take a bit of a break, maybe travel a bit more, it's not like you need to get PTO half the time, right? It's just that it's at the end of the day, you get what you put in, right? So because I was so focused on it, I was putting in a lot, and I was making decent money, maybe 4K, 5K a month, as I'd sort of aim for.
Which for some people,
calling these guys,
life-changing.
I mean, like this man, as I said, right, a year prior, I was thinking that $1,500 was going to be incredible, whilst having that freedom of working online. And I guess your perspective just kind of shifts a little bit. And, I just kept at it, saw more potential in it. And I enjoy the conversations as well, right? And I enjoy a bit of a challenge. Basically, then I'm the first port of contact. So I need to basically get these guys then to organize a meeting within the closers like yourself, for example.
Yeah. Let's maybe give everyone a bit of context on that. So for everyone listening, so Ted was obviously working with myself. He was obviously pretty much my setter that was putting leads in my calendar and doing a really good job as well, so that I could obviously close those deals. But I feel like Ted quickly obviously understand that there was a cap to what you could make within setting, unless you're going to work all the hours under the sun, like 12, 14-hour days, right?
Yeah, that's it, man. It is very much more leveraging your time and all these dials, all this effort. it's very different from just being able to set your calendar and have it filled by somebody else and then just
But
crush that, right?
great place to start, though, isn't it? Same as me knocking
Yeah,
doors for
yeah,
you, obviously
exactly.
on the phones.
It definitely, helped give me a massive, boost into terms of, my skill set, my confidence in terms of the, talking to these people, and even in the industry that now I'm selling in with more sort of trading focus, it gave me a lot of,
Yeah,
confidence in that and in the jargon there, right?
yeah,
But yeah, man, I mean, and it also, as a setter, you are more limited because I was lucky to have you as a closer, but in general, you're not closing these leads. You're maybe having a great conversation and then leaving it into someone else's hands to take it, which I feel like after a while, I knew that I was wanting to take that step, but it's difficult in itself. It can be comfortable to do what you
mm,
know,
yeah,
right? And I was earning well, as I said, I was more than comfortable, to
yeah.
provide for myself and my girlfriend.
50, 60K a year and still being able to travel. Like it's not bad. Some people rip your arms off for that.
Yeah, exactly, man. So, and I was good at it, and I enjoyed doing it. I probably looking back on it didn't enjoy how much work I was putting in, but it was
Yeah,
what it was, right? And I guess then I just felt a little bit maybe stuck in maybe
yeah.
comfortable, maybe stuck
Maybe,
where
maybe there was you hit the ceiling, and I feel
mm,
like the conversations that we were having, you knew that you could achieve more. It's just the identity that you created is that you was obviously an elite setter, doing
mm,
very well. So when you create that identity of like, oh, I'm a setter, it's like everyone wants a good setter, So
mm,
making that transition, there was obviously a gap there for you, and um, you know, RSA was, obviously there, and I kind of said to you, like it's going to be different. But you have the foundation, and this is where I feel where a lot of setters sometimes go wrong is that they actually think they've got the skill set to go from being a setter to closer, especially closing
mm.
like 5 and 10K tickets. Um, but it's a completely different way
Oh
to just
yeah.
setting.
I
Um,
think that I had like a little bit of a taste of that difference because I had the opportunity in my role because I was performing
yeah,
well to close these lower tickets.
yeah,
Still like $1,000, right? Which was good, but I definitely knew that I was leaving stuff on the table because I was relying more on this Irish charm maybe, right? And
yeah,
not not really
yeah,
having that actual foundation or that structure, I guess, or even just that real confidence, inherently, right?
yeah,
And then because I remember I was talking to you, there was a couple of changes happening, and I had a new offer to kind of move on to a company that was crushing it and had maybe opportunity as
mate.
if I was to perform,
They just
as
done Yeah, they just done 2 million last month, like a massive
mm,
offer. We both obviously got on there, and yeah, like the potential is humongous. But like what I always believe is like sometimes whatever happens to you is happening for you, because if I remember correctly, there was a closer or two that was kind of off or ill on the offer what we're on, and then
mm.
like the business owner gave you an opportunity to basically just jump into closing,
Yeah,
right?
it was a bit of that and a bit of stepping, putting my hand up as
Yeah,
well, right? Because basically I was like, do I step into this role, this new company? When I like the company, I love the company
mm,
that we've been working with, and I like the sort of culture there as well, the community, and
yeah,
it's a great company, and the new one, yeah, it was crushing it, and potentially would have had the opportunity if I was to be performing at that higher level as a setter there to be maybe making this 7, 8K,
mm,
nine
yeah.
K months, but yeah, and it's kind of the stars aligned a little bit. Yes, I put my hand up and maybe had a bit of that opportunity. It wasn't so much that I guess that the opportunity was straight there, but I knew myself that if I took the right steps, that it could be. So that's
Yeah.
when, yeah, I think the way the conversation and I saw obviously you've been crushing it, I had seen that firsthand, right, from your
What
level.
was what was that trigger moment for you? Because like most setters, in my opinion, would obviously be like, well, I don't need any more training because I've already been doing this for 2 years now. So like, what made you actually pull the trigger to invest, obviously, in RSA and myself to get that extra support and help? And obviously, we'll speak about the results in a moment. But like, what
Yeah.
was going through your head to actually kind of like make the investment? Because I feel like a lot of setters would be stuck in their way of like, no, I already know what I'm doing. I just need to get on an offer. But the problem is why they're not on an offer is because a lot of the times when they have the interviews, they don't have the skill set to even get past the interview, never mind actually push on an offer.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I think like I remember that a couple of times when I asked, because I'm always here to learn, even now, and I always feel like that has been a great attribute of mine to be able to kind of have this attitude. I did like I was crushing it, and I would say that I was very much at that top level of setting,
Yeah.
but I still knew that there's a big gap, and to perform in the way that I would want to, with closing. I could have probably come into some offer and done all right, but I don't think that I was really happy with that. Obviously, I've been working with you for like a year at that point. I'd
Yeah.
seen you crushing it, yourself, and having that sort of consistency. And also the fact that I know that you yourself continue to always invest into yourself and into your learning and mentorship to be better, right? So, you set a
Yeah.
good example that way. And I know that at that point, we're talking like sort of mid-February, right?
Yeah.
I know that I'd seen a few of the results from the guys in RSA as well, and known that they've been crushing it. So I think it was a no-brainer, really, just to actually invest into myself, get that skill set, get that as well. Like even as I said, just that structure to my
Yeah.
learning, but also to even coming onto these calls, so I could be confident in that. It just it made sense.
Yeah, and you put the work in, man. You were showing up to all the calls. You're obviously going through my calls, picking them apart,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
then just implementing. Obviously, what I was obviously doing on the calls, but in your own Irish charm. And let's fast forward. Like how did it happen? Like we've been working together now for it's got to be about 10 weeks now. Like you went into closing. Like how did month one go for you from making that transition?
Mhm. So I think we I think I took that step with RSA mid-February, and
Yeah.
then obviously it was a couple of weeks before I actually got the opportunity to implement it, I
Yeah.
suppose, in with the company. And also at the same time, I didn't feel like I was confident enough at that time, so I wanted to be able to spend the time and to build up that skill set, because it doesn't just happen overnight. It takes a bit of
Yeah.
work, right? Um, and yeah, turning up to all the calls, putting the work in, watching your calls, taking notes. I'd be in the gym, right, listening and pausing it at a point where, and screenshotting maybe your call to then go back to, right? And
Yeah.
then, implementing it in the role plays and, with boys inside. And then March it was literally the start of March was the first time I got the opportunity then to start taking a couple of calls, which I had self-set myself.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, closed the first one, and then started crushing it. I think like first month, got it here. First month, it was what in combination, because I was doing a bit of both, bit of hybrid, still setting,
Yeah.
passing over the bottom pattern that way, and then some of the closing. Didn't have much opportunity, but did well with that. I think it was about 5.5K that I made closing, and then the total it up for that month was 9.4K, $53,
Nice.
right?
Nearly 10K.
Yeah, nearly 10K, right? The first month of actually kind of doing it. Yeah, and obviously I was still putting in a lot of time, still doing the setting as well. But I mean, can't complain with nearly in 10K. Just
Yeah.
under, just enough to keep the appetite there. And I know it's not just gonna happen
Definitely.
overnight. And then yeah, man. I mean, as I've been updating you, it's been just moving through, progressing each month. April, then I had 10 days, but two weeks, technically, including the weekends.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Japan.
yeah, I went to Japan, which was amazing. It was amazing also because I just made 10K, and
Yeah.
and I was thinking I was going there with my girlfriend. We'd been wanting to go for years, and it's expensive, man. Right?
Yeah.
So it was great to be able to go there and just fully enjoy myself. Just you talk about financial freedom a lot, but it's really just was that being able to just not stress about it, not stress about the price or the restaurants or we did a lot of shopping, had to buy an extra suitcase, right? And just kind of doing that, enjoying myself. And then even with that, 10 days of enjoying myself in Japan and not working, finished out that month $10,402, while just
Wow.
traveling around and enjoying
Nearly
myself.
2 weeks off, and you still made 10K plus.
I know. That's it, man. It was definitely it was definitely, very it made me very grateful that I was able to, yes, go to visit somewhere that I've wanted to for
So
years and
let's
years,
just
but
pause on that so the viewers understand actually what's happened there. You've gone away on holiday for a 10-day holiday and you still made 10.4K while having a 10-day holiday, where most people have to ask for time off so they can go on holiday and they can't make money while they're on holiday. And I'm sure that you, if I remember, did you completely switch off for that 10 days? Like completely? Yeah.
yeah, just completely switched off because I've been working hard for like the year previous, with the setting. I don't think I really had,
Yeah.
apart from 3 days over Christmas. I don't think I really, I had the opportunity, but I didn't really take off, more than maybe a long weekend for that
Mm.
time. So I think it was due. I just collected 80K over the 2 weeks beforehand, cash collected.
Which
So
is
that's
incredible.
8K commission to then
Especially
go.
on, like, for context, that offers a trading offer, and we do get obviously a wide range of obviously prospects that come in where people unfortunately are trying to make money as a trader, right? So they're obviously losing money. So sometimes they don't have money all the time to invest because they're constantly chasing, the feeling of
Yeah,
becoming that trader.
few people come because they have shitloads of money, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely it's its own challenge, but it was great. It was great to then obviously come and just be
Yeah.
feeling top of the mountain, walking around, enjoying myself just fully, and then coming back and finishing on the month off like that. I mean, it
Yeah,
was it was great.
definitely. And then you just go and do, like, you're managing on your third month in closing, and you just closed out on what?
So in terms of the collected cash, so hit the record,
Yes,
which I
smashed
was
it. Unbelievable.
gunning for. Wasn't easy. It was, some long days, but I was, locked in for it. Long days at the same time, not even anywhere near as long as any of my setting days, right? But $129,025 collected, that month with $189,994 revenue.
Yeah.
So coming out then, just totaled it up yesterday, for the invoice with just over $14,800 commission. So
14.8K, which is about 12,000.
it's about 11. It's about £11,000
Yeah.
on the dot because the dollar's crap at the
Yeah.
moment. All right.
Yeah. £11,000. Wow. Some people probably have to work 6 months for that, 7 months.
Yeah, man. It's
All while being
it's
in where? Thailand.
I started it off for just the tail end of the month, Okinawa, and then into Bali, and then over to Malaysia, and for just the end
Yeah.
of the month.
All traveling on your laptop, man, going where you want to go. And like you said, it's a massive transition in people's minds of like, well, I'm here, I've got my 9 to 5 here, it's safe. They're making their 2, 3, 4,000 a month, but just getting uncomfortable for 6 months, 12 months to learn the skill, so then that they can provide more for their families, or for a young person they want to travel. Like, you can come to Asia and live very comfortable for like three, even $2,000 a month, right? Because you've lived out here on the cheap. You said when you first was
Mhm.
making obviously like what, 700, £800.
Yeah, and then whenever I was setting and making like maybe like talking about pounds, like 12,000, 1200 a
Yeah,
month. I was in North Thailand in like a six-bed villa with a friend and my
yeah,
girlfriend,
yeah.
six-bed pool villa. It's it's crazy
It's
the
making it happen though,
difference,
man. Living life. And that's what I say to any young entrepreneur out there that knows that they want more. If they've got 5K, 10K in their bank, just burn the boats and literally just go out and travel and see the world. You might not make money your first time that you go out there, but I tell you something now, you will go back home and you will find a way to make money online. Or, if you want to be really smart, like a lot of the guys that are doing RSA, is you learn the skill while obviously you're working your job, so that when obviously the skill set's there and you get onto the offer, you have
Mhm.
the ability to then literally start doing part time or just burning the boats and going all in, obviously, as we just seen with Jamie.
Mhm.
Um, but for me, like Ted, what you've achieved in 3 months is incredible. To go from setting, doing that, yes, obviously you've got the belief system that you can make money remotely, but to make such a quick transition and just absolutely start crushing, and do what you've just done is really inspiring. Not only obviously to myself, but also to everyone else inside RSA. And I hope anyone that's watching this, gets inspired that it actually is possible. Like Ted was making £700 as a teacher, online in Thailand, and he knew
I
that he
wasn't even
was.
online. I
Oh,
was
that
in
was
person.
in person, yeah.
Mhm.
So you went back and you found a way because you knew it was possible and you was meant for more, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, I guess it's like obviously I've always loved traveling around, and I think that it can just be amazing to shift your perspective like that as well.
Mm,
Did you realize that,
yeah,
beforehand it was get a job, become a teacher, because then that's just how you get the opportunity, then coming out, speaking to people, and they were working online and doing these things. I didn't know it would be in sales. Didn't know, especially I didn't even know setting was a thing, right,
yeah,
until my friend put me on it. But yeah, it just shows you kind of what's possible. I mean, like at the moment, like obviously everybody wants financial freedom, whether you're young and you just want to be
yeah,
able to enjoy yourself, or you've got your family and everything. But it's just amazing, like the opportunity. It's not easy, and it takes a bit of hard work. But you know
it's worth it.
yeah, man, I mean, to be sat here nearly making 15K dollars, I mean, more than more than in my first job setting. I think because I went to see if I needed to do tax, and I think I was on like 12K, so under the taxable amount, for that
Yeah,
whole year, the first year of my setting. Now that was enjoying myself and traveling, not locked
yeah,
in full time the whole time, but to put it into perspective, 1 month to one year of that work, it's incredible, and it's definitely it's been hard work, but I'm feeling blessed. And yeah, and then I also know that it's been a record month, but I know that in myself, like I've got this skill set, I've got that confidence in myself. I've got, you in my corner, and the boys, if I'm, unsure about something, I can hop in for, you know,
yeah,
a session and just basically fine tune things, just get rolling again, and just keep crushing it, which is
of course.
amazing to know that you're just on this upward trajectory. The things are already like they are, and I'm already sat here and realistically more money than I know what to do with, right? And that
Which, yeah,
I'm still.
now you have the skill set. It's like you can go where you want to go in the world, and be able to make
Mm,
money consistently. And that's the problem with remote closing to the viewers. Like it does become addictive because like you can just go and hop from place to place, take your laptop, and you can just carry on working while you're kind of like on a holiday, half on a holiday. Um,
mm,
but what would you say to anyone that's looking to get into setting remote sales who's maybe doesn't quite believe it's possible for them. They're they're in like a job now where they're comfortable and they just know that they're probably meant for more and they don't know kind of which way to kind of go, the first starting point.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I would say that it doesn't just happen without actually taking action, which is always going to be the most difficult part, taking the first step to actually do anything. But like,
Yeah.
how many people does everybody know that wants this financial freedom, wants to be able to travel the world and work just 5, 6 hours a day, right? And to making, this sort of money, but big difference
Yeah.
in between, actually just thinking about it and, dreaming about it to actually doing it. And it can be difficult to know where to start. Like, I know that even a lot of my friends have kind of, been coming to me, talking about it, and it's difficult to know maybe what company, how to even get into it, but like these are all things that just happen with you actually, surround yourself with people doing it, you know, just like
Mm.
in any job, right? Get the skills, get the opportunity, right? You wanna look for people that are doing what you're wanting. And if like that was the thing. I mean, back in February, I'd just seen like everybody crushing it in RSA, and then coming in and just seeing it firsthand as well. It's a no-brainer, but it's a difficult step, of course. But
Yeah,
it's
of
always
course.
worth
Yeah.
it's always worth at least you never, if you don't try, it'll never happen. Right. And
Yeah.
that's the main
Definitely.
thing.
Like it's about being able to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And I feel like the beauty of remote sales is that once you learn this skill, it's not about this year, next year. It's like once you have the ability to negotiate, to be able to
Mm,
influence, it's not just about making money from putting your time into money. You're actually learning how a business actually works. You're actually learning like how, those leads go from maybe YouTube, go for that process and end up obviously speaking to you. Then obviously they go and work in a program and like obviously I offer, like they get incredible results and their life change all because you've learned the skill set to have the courage and the conviction to shift someone's paradigm on a call that, yeah, you're going to invest 9K. And if you do the work and you show up, because I know, because I've invested myself, and because you've invested in yourself, you have this conviction to get them to be able to invest in themselves because you know obviously what we
mm,
offer is going to get them. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. Like when you don't actually invest in yourself, like how can you have the same conviction to ask someone to actually invest in themselves if you're not actually doing it for yourself? Um,
mm.
but yeah, it's
Yeah,
going to be an
people
incredible
will
year.
see through it,
Mm,
at the end of the day. As a lot of people say, people they buy you a lot of the
yeah,
time. So
definitely.
at the end of the day, you've got to set that example and live by what you're saying, ultimately. And at the end of the day, just like these guys, they crush it and they see the results of their investment. It's the same thing, like with myself and like with
Yeah,
Jamie, and with everybody. It's it's amazing to see, man. Because I know as well, like, I just wanted to give an absolute shout out to Jimmy because we kind of started in around maybe the same sort
mm,
of time, and we spent a lot of the time on these calls, on these group sessions together, and maybe a couple, just jumping on for a couple of role plays and stuff. And I remember like there's definitely points where he was, maybe a bit down, feeling a bit
yeah,
unmotivated, and he just never stopped putting in that work. And now, you know, even though he maybe doubted himself at times, he's now just absolutely crushing it. Crushing the
yeah,
thing,
man.
So
You need to catch up with Jamie hopefully this week. I think
for
he
sure, man.
had a little celebration the weekend as well. So
Yeah, too right.
definitely,
You
yeah,
work hard, for it. So you've got to be able to stop and celebrate a bit of the progress as well. You know,
definitely, man.
just like in Japan, I guess for myself, right? Whenever we do
Yeah.
that. So
Well, look, I want to celebrate you, bro. You've absolutely smashed it. Beyond proud of you, and yeah, you're up there obviously as one of the top students in RSA. I think you just nipped second place, which is incredible. I believe you'll nip that first place in the next 2-3 months easily.
Yeah,
Especially,
I don't want first to be easy. I want to
yeah, yeah,
do
yeah.
well.
I
So
feel you had a full calendar last month. I reckon you would have done it. Definitely, like you're only like $700 behind Carl. But yeah, I just want to say thank you. And yeah, man, looking forward to seeing you cross 2025.
that's it, man. It's um I'm hungrier than ever, right? I mean, it was just a month ago. I was setting my goal as 15K a month. Gonna have to
Yeah,
change that now. So we're
20K. Yeah,
that's it, man. 20K a month. I'm here for it.
yeah,
And when the dollar
yeah,
gets
man.
better again, then that'll be even better, right? But
Yeah, definitely, man. All right then, well, yeah, we'll leave it there, man. Appreciate it.